Well, aloha dragons, and welcome to this instructional video for Lesson 8, Part 4, Following a Bill in Congress. The main idea behind this civics lesson is the legislative process is intentionally difficult to allow for full consideration of each bill and to ensure that the laws passed by Congress are beneficial to the whole country. With that in mind, by the end of watching this video, you'll be able to describe the ways the minority party in Congress can stop passage of a bill, explain how the House and Senate reach compromises, describe how a bill can die in committee, and analyze the advantages of our lawmaking process. Now that the outcomes for this lesson have been shared with you, let's get started. Suppose you have been hired to work as a summer intern for one of your state's senators. The senator is thinking of introducing a bill that would raise the minimum wage, but she needs some background information. She tells you, I need you to prepare a report on recent minimum wage legislation. I need to know about bills that became laws and bills that failed to pass Congress. As you begin researching, you quickly learn that the minimum wage is a controversial issue. Since the Fair Labor Standards Act set the first minimum wage at 25 cents per hour in 1938, Americans have been debating whether increasing the minimum wage helps or hurts our economy. Some people argue that minimum wage increases help low-income workers support themselves and their families. Others disagree, insisting that increases in the minimum wage hurt workers. Businesses may not be able to afford the wage increase, these opponents argue, and they may have to lay off workers. So what has happened in the past when minimum wage bills have been introduced in Congress? To learn more about this, you decide to research the stories of several minimum wage bills as they move through Congress. Most bills start as ideas for solving problems. Many ideas for bills begin in Congress. Others come from individual citizens, special interest groups, and the executive branch. A group interested in wildlife may want a law to protect mountain lions. People who live near the airport might ask for a law to reduce noise. The president may call for a special police force to solve drug problems facing the nation. Citizens, interest groups, and the executive branch can draw up bills. However, only a senator or a representative can introduce bills in Congress. A representative introduces a bill in the House by dropping it in a special box called a hopper. A senator introduces the bill by reading it aloud from the Senate floor. All bills introduced during a term are marked HR for the House and S for the Senate. They are given numbers in the order in which they are introduced. For example, when the minimum wage bill was introduced in the Senate in 1998, it was marked S 1805. In March 1987, Senator Kennedy, a Democrat from Massachusetts, introduced the Minimum Wage Restoration Act, numbered S 837. The bill was assigned to the Labor and Human Resources Committee. The Democrats were the majority party in the Senate at this time, so the chairperson of every committee was a Democrat. Senator Kennedy was chairman of the Labor and Human Resources Committee, and from this powerful position, he was able to move the minimum wage legislation forward by scheduling hearings on the bill. At the hearings, committee members listened to testimony from supporters and opponents of S 837. In July 1988, the Labor and Human Resources Committee sent S 837 to the full Senate. It recommended that the bill be approved. This is called reporting the bill. The Senate began its debate on S 837. Senator Orrin Hatch, a Republican from Utah, felt the bill would be bad for the American economy. To try to block passage of the bill, Senator Hatch and some fellow Republicans started a filibuster, which is the use of long speeches to prevent a vote on the bill. Filibusters cannot happen in the House, where time limits are set for debates. On September 22nd, the Democrats tried to stop the filibuster by calling for cloture, or agreement to end the debate on a bill. Cloture requires a 3/5 vote, 60 senators. At the final count, only 53 senators voted in favor of cloture. The next day, the Democrats tried again but failed. Without an end to the filibuster, the Senate could not vote on the bill. Even though they were the minority party in the Senate, the Republicans had stopped the bill. In the next Congress, Senator Kennedy introduced S-4, a new minimum wage bill. This time, several changes were made in the bill. Some Republicans liked it better, and in April the Senate passed the bill. Meanwhile, the House also passed a minimum wage bill numbered H.R. 2. The bill was assigned to the House Education and Labor and Human Resources Committee. Because the Democrats were the majority in the House, the chairman of that committee was also a Democrat. Just like in the Senate, representatives on this committee heard testimony from experts in support of and opposition to H.R. 2. The members of this committee reported the bill to the full House, where it passed. Because the two bills were not exactly alike, a conference committee was formed to write a compromise bill. This bill was passed by both houses of Congress and sent to the President. After the same bill has been passed by a majority vote in both houses of Congress, it's sent to the President. The President can sign the bill, making it the law of the land. The bill will also become law if, while Congress is in session, the President holds the bill for 10 days without either signing or vetoing it. A president may veto or reject a bill in one of two ways. The first way is to send the bill back to Congress unsigned. Congress can override the veto by passing the bill again by a 2/3 vote of both houses. The second way a president can veto a bill is called a pocket veto. If the president pockets or keeps the bill for 10 days, during which Congress ends its session, the bill will not become law. Republican President George Bush believed a minimum wage increase would hurt the economy, so he vetoed the bill. After failing to override the veto, Congress worked out a compromise bill that satisfied the President, who signed it into law that November. This law increased the minimum wage to $4.25 per hour in 1991. The minimum wage remained at $4.25 until 1996. At this time, the Republicans were the majority party in both the House and the Senate. In May, Representative Bill Archer, a Republican from Texas, introduced H.R. 3448, the Small Business Job Protection Act of 1996. One of this bill's provisions was a 2-stage increase in the minimum wage from $4.25 to $4.75 per hour in 1996 and from $4.75 to $5.15 an hour in 1997. The bill, H.R. 3448, was sent to the Committee on Ways and Means, which approved the bill by a vote of 33-3. The bill was then passed by the full House. Several weeks later, the Senate passed a similar bill. A conference committee worked out a compromise bill that was then passed by both houses of Congress. President Clinton signed the bill in August, making it law. In 1998, Senator Edward Kennedy introduced S. 1805, the Fair Minimum Wage Act. When introducing this bill in the Senate chamber, Kennedy explained its purpose to his colleagues. The federal minimum wage is now $5.15 an hour. Our bill will raise it by $1 over the next 2 years, a 50-cent increase on January 1, 1999, and another 50-cent increase on January 1, 2000, so that the minimum wage will reach the level of $6.15 at the turn of the century. The bill, S. 1805, was sent to the Labor and Human Resources Committee, chaired by Republican Senator Jim Jeffords of Vermont. It failed to gain the support of a majority of committee members. Therefore, the bill died when the 105th Congress ended. By following these minimum wage bills through Congress, you have learned a lot about lawmaking. Clearly, a bill must overcome many hurdles before becoming law. You realize, however, that the framers wanted Congress to take its time. They wanted every bill to be studied and debated carefully. Any bill that makes it through this process has an excellent chance of being a good law. So that's the way it is with Lesson 8, Part 4, Following a Bill in Congress. By this point, you should know that the lawmaking process is intentionally difficult, and many factors can affect whether a bill becomes law or fails to do so. including the party makeup of both houses, the subject of a bill, and the president's views on the issues. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to have the entire catalog of civics videos available at your fingertips. Click the subscribe button, and then click the follow bell to receive notifications as to when the channel is updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in class, Dragons. See ya!